Just when the public thought the dust had finally settled around the explosive 2018 charity fraud allegations, Amara is once again at the center of a jaw-dropping scandal, and this time there's no room for denial. A leaked 2025 voicemail has surfaced online, and what's inside has sent shockwaves through her fan base, the media, and even former close friends. In the chilling audio allegedly recorded during a private phone call just 3 months ago, a voice that sounds unmistakably like Amara's can be heard casually admitting to using children's charity funds for her personal luxuries. Yes, you heard that right. A woman once hailed as a role model for young girls around the world may have just confessed to stealing money meant for underprivileged kids. And if that wasn't enough to send your jaw to the floor, insiders claim this is only the tip of the iceberg. There are rumors of hidden receipts, deleted emails, and even a silenced ex-employee who's ready to talk. What really happened behind the scenes? Who leaked the voicemail? And what does this mean for Amara's future in the spotlight? Trap? Because what we're about to reveal will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Amara Nagra. It all began with a voicemail. A simple 37-second audio clip that hit the internet like a lightning strike on a calm day. Someone anonymously uploaded it late at night, and within hours, the file had spread across social media platforms like wildfire. Amara fans were left stunned. The voice in the recording, smooth and unmistakable, carried the weight of confession. She wasn't yelling, she wasn't crying, she was calm. To calm. In the clip, she says, "Look, I did what I had to do. Nobody was going to question me. The charity paid for it, sure. But it's not like those kids were going to know the difference." Those words triggered an avalanche of outrage, speculation, and heartache. How could someone who built her brand on female empowerment and community love be capable of something so cruel? As the story unfolded, people began digging. The voicemail was allegedly sent to a former assistant named Clarissa, who worked with Amara during the 2018 gala for Hope, a high-profile charity event meant to raise funds for underprivileged school children in Haiti. The event had been lavish. Celebrities lined the red carpet, the wine flowed freely, and Amara wore a diamond-studded gown that reportedly cost more than the total budget for one of the partner schools. No one questioned it at the time. In fact, she was praised for her elegance and generosity. But now, everything from that night is being re-examined under a harsh, unforgiving lens. Sources close to Amara's former team claim that internal suspicions started back then. Multiple invoices, all from high-end designers, and private travel agencies were marked as event logistics. According to one insider, who asked to remain anonymous, "We all thought it was weird, but Amara was untouchable. She'd smile, say it's taken care of, and you'd just believe her." Fans are shocked by the realization that their idol may have been exploiting charity funds for her own luxury lifestyle. But the betrayal doesn't stop there. Back in 2020, a former accountant named Renee quietly resigned from Amara's management company, and now she's come forward with what she claims are copies of altered financial statements. Renee says she tried to warn the team, but was told to stay in her lane or risk being blacklisted from the industry. Now, with the voicemail circulating, Renee has nothing to lose. She's turned over documents to a well-known podcast that specializes in celebrity scandals, and they've promised to release the receipts in a 3-part special called Behind the Red Carpet. Fans are already waiting with bated breath. Meanwhile, Amara's team has gone into full crisis mode. Her manager Tristan was spotted leaving a law office late last night with a visibly distressed look. When approached by a reporter and asked if he had a comment, Tristan only muttered, "It's not what it sounds like," before rushing into his car. But the damage control might be too little, too late. The internet never forgets, and the audio is being replayed over and over again across platforms, reaction videos, breakdowns. and even fan-made remixes of the voicemail are gaining millions of views. At the heart of this chaos is a question that no one can yet answer. Is the voicemail authentic? Amara herself has been silent. No tweet, no post, not even a story. Silence in this moment feels like an admission. And for fans who once saw her as a beacon of strength and truth, the silence is deafening. A former co-star from her reality show days, Denise, posted a cryptic message on her Instagram. Truth always finds the mic, even when you try to shut it off. Fans immediately interpreted it as a dig at Amara, and the comment section exploded. The scandal has also reignited old drama. Back in 2019, Amara had a very public falling out with her childhood friend and former publicist, Alicia, at the time. Both parties claimed it was creative differences. But now, people are speculating that Alicia might have known more than she let on. One viral tweet reads, "Remember when Alicia randomly vanished after the gala? She knew something. Knew." Some fans are even calling for Alicia to speak out, flooding her old posts with comments like, "Tell us what really happened, and you owe us the truth." While the internet continues to spiral, Amara's family has not been spared. Her younger sister Marisol, who usually avoids public attention, posted a now-deleted story with a single broken heart emoji. It stayed up for only 10 minutes, but was screen-recorded and shared widely. Speculation is growing that Marisol, too, had her doubts but stayed silent to protect the family. A distant cousin who claims to have attended the 2018 gala told a blogger that Amara seemed strangely defensive anytime money or donations were mentioned. "She didn't want to talk numbers," the cousin said. "She just smiled and changed the subject." And then there's Clarissa, the former assistant, an alleged recipient of the voicemail. She hasn't been seen or heard from since the leak. Her social media has been wiped clean, and multiple attempts to reach her for comment have gone unanswered. This sudden disappearance has only fueled further speculation. Is she hiding? Was she paid off? Or worse, threatened? Fans are drawing comparisons to other scandals where whistleblowers mysteriously went silent. Hashtags like "Justice for Clarissa" and "Amara Exposed" have been trending for over 48 hours, with emotions running high and the public demanding answers. A new twist emerged that could flip the narrative once again. A tech expert on Twitter claimed to have analyzed the leaked voicemail and insists that the voice matches Amara's with a 97% probability. He added that there are no obvious signs of manipulation, though he stopped short of declaring it completely authentic. This small piece of technical confirmation sent shockwaves through the fan base. People who were hoping it was fake now have to face a horrifying possibility. What if it's real? But just as this new information was setting the internet ablaze, a second audio file surfaced. This time, it was a voice message left on a group chat with Amara's inner circle. In it, she sounds panicked, saying, "Someone has my old phone. They're gonna twist everything." This message only added fuel to the fire. Is she admitting guilt? Or is this a desperate attempt to control a narrative spiraling out of her hands? The timing couldn't be worse. What was once a small scandal is now an unstoppable storm of accusations, secrets, and betrayal. And as the sun rose on the third day since the leak, fans noticed something chilling. Amara's Instagram bio had changed. All it now says is, "I never asked to be perfect." No explanation, no links, no posts. Just that one line, sitting like a final whisper before the storm's next wave. And it was then that an even bigger bombshell dropped. Someone claiming to be a former financial advisor to the Gala Fund has agreed to come forward in an exclusive tell-all interview. They're calling it "The Truth Behind the Gown," and they've promised to reveal the one transaction that started it all. The announcement of the tell-all interview sent shockwaves through every corner of the internet. Titled "The Truth Behind the Gown," the exposed promise never before seen screenshots. voice memos, and internal emails directly linked to Amara Lanagra's now infamous 2018 gala. The person behind the revelation, a man only identified as Darius, claimed he worked as a freelance financial consultant on the charity's accounts and had witnessed numerous inconsistencies in expense reports. For years, he said, he kept quiet out of fear of legal retaliation. But with the voicemail now public, he felt a moral obligation to step forward. As the interview aired on a small but rapidly trending podcast channel, listeners were glued to their screens. Darius, speaking calmly but with conviction, laid out a timeline of questionable decisions. He explained how gala funds were repeatedly rerouted to private accounts under the guise of logistics transfers. One payment in particular, totaling nearly $60,000, was labeled as urgent wardrobe emergency just days before Amara's now iconic red carpet appearance. He even referenced a specific bank transaction that appeared to funnel money directly into an account registered under Amara's initials. But what truly made jaws drop was when the host played a voicemail Darius had saved for years. Another voice note from Amara, this one recorded during a chaotic week of planning. In it, her tone is frustrated. "I don't care what it says on the form, just put it through. These people need to see me shine. I can't look average. They expect." More fans were stunned. The message seemed to reinforce the worst fears about her motives, that the gala wasn't about the children at all, but about her image. While Darius's story gained momentum, Amara's silence continued. No tweets, no statements, and still, no public appearance. Her fan base, once fiercely loyal, now found itself painfully divided. Some refused to believe the voice in the recordings was hers. Others argued that even if it was, the context was being twisted. But a growing number of former fans began sharing their own stories' alleged encounters. With Amara, where she had acted dismissively, refused to sign autographs, or demanded luxury treatment at charity events. Meanwhile, things took a dark turn. Behind the scenes, Clarissa, the former assistant believed to have received the original voicemail, is finally located by a gossip blog in a small town just outside of Orlando. She agreed to a brief interview under the condition her face wouldn't be shown. With a trembling voice, she said, "I didn't leak it for revenge. I leaked it because I couldn't carry the guilt anymore." According to Clarissa, she had held on to the voicemail for years, hoping Amara would come clean on her own. But when the same patterns began to repeat in newer charity events, she felt she had no choice. Clarissa went on to describe a toxic work environment where fear ruled. "We were told to smile, to post, to clap at every speech, but behind closed doors. There was manipulation, threats, even gaslighting. If you questioned anything, you were out. And she always had a replacement waiting." Her words only added more fuel to the fire. Cross platforms, fans began using the hashtag Justice for the Kids, calling for investigations, refunds, and in some cases, criminal charges. Then another twist-and-old email thread from 2019 leaked online. It showed correspondence between Amara's manager and a luxury boutique hotel in Paris, confirming a 5-day stay paid directly by the gala's donation pool. The subject line simply read, "VIP arrangements for Ms. N." This discovery led to renewed outrage. Why was a children's charity paying for luxury stays in Europe? The explanation from her team that it was for global outreach meetings only made things worse. People demanded to know which outreach programs were, based in 5-star French resorts. But the most unexpected reaction came from inside her family. Marisol, the younger sister who had earlier posted a cryptic broken heart emoji, broke her silence in a short live stream. Wearing no makeup and visibly emotional, Marisol began by saying, "I can't defend what I don't understand anymore." She didn't confirm the scandal, but she didn't deny it either. Instead, she spoke about growing up with Amara and watching her change over the years. There was a time she cared, a time she cried for others. But somewhere along the way, the fame got too loud. The money got too easy, and the people who tried to stop her were pushed away. That live stream was viewed over 2 million times in just 8 hours. Fans flooded the comments, some offering support to Marisol, others demanding she say more. At one point, Marisol looked directly into the camera and whispered, "I wish I had said something sooner." That line alone became the soundbite of the day, used in countless reels, TikToks, and fan edits portraying the dramatic fall of Amara Na, with public sentiment rapidly turning against her. Sponsors began pulling out. A well-known skincare brand removed her from their homepage, and an upcoming documentary deal was quietly shelved. One network executive leaked a message thread showing internal discussion about postponing indefinitely due to reputational risk. It was clear the fallout had officially entered professional territory. Amara wasn't just losing fans, she was losing her brand amid all this. A curious figure entered the conversation. Alicia, the former best friend and publicist, who had vanished from Amara's world after the 2018 gala. She made her first social media appearance in years by posting a single photo and old backstage moment with Amara. Captioned only with, "I warned you." The post went viral instantly. Within minutes, she followed it up with a story. "I won't be silent anymore. Not when truth is on the line." Fans immediately demanded a live interview, a documentary, anything she was willing to give. The noise grew louder, the timelines more chaotic. Fake screenshots began circulating, some claiming Amara had fled the country, others suggesting she had tried to pay off Darius. While most were quickly debunked, the chaos created enough doubt to keep conspiracy theories thriving. Fan groups split into factions, those still hoping for her redemption, and those demanding justice for every child affected. As day 5 of the scandal approached, the pressure reached a boiling point. Several former collaborators released statements condemning what had surfaced. One co-host from a past award show wrote, "We all noticed the signs, the excess, the disconnect. But we never thought it would come to this." Another dancer from her 2018 stage performance claimed they were never paid in full. The message was clear: Amara had more than one skeleton in her closet. And now they were clawing their way out. And then, without warning, a mysterious file appeared on a Reddit thread dedicated to celebrity accountability. It was titled The Master List, and it claimed to be a full breakdown of every questionable expense from the gala event fund. While moderators scrambled to verify its authenticity, internet sleuths went into overdrive. The file listed flights, luxury handbags, jewelry, spa treatments, and even a now infamous silk robe worn in a viral behind-the-scenes video. Every item was allegedly traced back to the same charity account. And most disturbingly, the file claimed there were missing funds over $200,000 that had never been accounted for. This was the moment everything changed. Speculation turned into fury. Rumors turned into accusations. And now the world waited for one thing only: what would Amara say next? The master list ignited a firestorm unlike anything seen in recent celebrity scandals. Every detail felt too precise to ignore. Each line item, time-stamped and marked with transaction IDs, painted a damning picture of excess and deception. A $6,000 spa treatment in Los Angeles, a pair of designer heels flown in from Italy, even a bill for personalized gold-embroidered napkins, all allegedly paid for from a fund meant to provide textbooks and clean water for children. As internet sleuths combed through the list, fans began cross-referencing the expenses with Amara's past Instagram posts. The matchups were chilling. That shimmering gown she wore in Paris was on the list. The luxury car she showed off in a 2019 story, also on the list, filed under event transport. The court of public opinion had spoken, and Amara was being tried with no defense in sight. Hashtags like "Where's the money" and "Children over couture" began trending globally. Even celebrities started weighing in. A singer who once collaborated with Amara tweeted, "If this is true, she owes more than an apology. She owes justice." Another popular influencer went live, crying on camera as she shared how she once donated to the gala because it felt real. Fans echoed her heartbreak. Some demanded refunds, others demanded jail time. As the outrage built, something even more unexpected happened. An alleged former beneficiary of the charity, a young teacher named Juliana from Haiti, posted a tearful video on TikTok. Speaking softly with her classroom behind her, she explained how she had applied for books and school supplies through Amara's organization in 2019 but never received anything. "They told us funds were limited," she said, tears rolling down her face. "We waited and waited. We believed in the promise." Her voice cracked as she added, "And now I see where the money went." Her video was shared by thousands, including journalists, activists, and even a few politicians. What began as celebrity gossip had evolved into a full-blown humanitarian outcry under this immense pressure. Legal experts began weighing in on news channels. Some argued that if the documents and voice messages were verified, Amara could be facing serious legal consequences, potentially fraud, misappropriation of funds, or even wire fraud, depending on how the donations were processed. One attorney explained this isn't just a PR nightmare, could be criminal. And yet, through all of this, Amara remained silent. No statement, no denial, not even a carefully worded post, until she finally broke her silence. It happened late at night, through a live broadcast that appeared suddenly on her page. Screen was dark at first, the sound of a heavy breath filling the silence. Then her face appeared, no makeup, no glamour, just raw and exposed. Her eyes were red. Her voice, when it came, was trembling. "I know what's being said. I know how it looks," she began. "I made mistakes. I trusted the wrong people. But I never set out to hurt anyone." Her statement lasted just under 3 minutes. She never mentioned the voicemail. She never addressed the master list. And she offered no explanation for the luxury purchases. Instead, she spoke about pressure, about being a woman of color in an industry that demanded perfection, about the expectations placed on her to always be flawless, to always shine. "You don't understand the pressure," she whispered. "They want you to be their hero, their queen, their savior. And sometimes you fake it just to survive." Some fans sympathized, many did not. Within an hour, her comment section was a battlefield. Some wrote, "This isn't about perfection, it's about stealing." Others said, "If you're going to apologize, do it for real." But the most damning response came from someone no one expected. Clarissa, the assistant whose silence had allowed Amara to control the narrative for years, finally spoke up again. She posted a screenshot of her own text conversation with Amara, dated just a few months before the scandal broke. In the messages, Amara writes, "Delete everything from the gala folder, especially the receipts. We'll say the hard drive crashed." Clarissa captioned the post with just 2 words, "Enough lies." The internet exploded. At this point, journalists began contacting sponsors, board members, and even local officials. In cities where Amara had held fundraising events, a reporter for a major news site uncovered that one of the schools Amara claimed to have built was actually a pre-existing government school, simply renamed during a photo op. Students there had never seen new supplies. A teacher told the journalist they showed up with cameras, handed out a few shirts, and left. "We never saw them again." The deception seemed endless. More people began speaking out. A makeup artist revealed she was asked to work for free during one of the charity shoots because it was for the kids. She said she never got paid, and when she asked, she was blocked. Another former staffer said he was instructed to shred invoices that didn't match the budget. A pattern of manipulation began to emerge, a web of carefully orchestrated illusions maintained by threats, fake smiles, and legal silence. But perhaps the most emotional moment came when Mary saw The younger sister went live again. Her face was streaked with tears. She held up a childhood photo of her and Amara, arms around each other, beaming with innocence. "I don't recognize her anymore," Marisol said, her voice cracking. "I don't know who she became. But this isn't the sister I loved." The stream cut off abruptly after that, but it was enough. Fans started calling for Marisol to be protected, to speak more, even to lead a separate movement for the victims of the alleged fraud. At this point, Amara's legal team finally stepped. In issuing a formal statement, it was dry and clinical, denying any intentional misuse of funds and blaming clerical mismanagement for inconsistencies. The statement promised a full internal audit and cooperation with authorities. But for most, it was too little, too late. The narrative was no longer in Amara's hands. It belonged to the people she disappointed. As the weekend approached, a coalition of donors announced they were filing a civil suit. Over 100 individuals signed a joint complaint accusing Amara of misleading them. The legal document leaked online within hours, demanded full financial transparency, reimbursement, and public accountability. This marked a turning point. It was no longer just about reputation, it was about consequences. And yet, even as the legal storm brewed, something strange happened. Amara's page, once silent, began posting cryptic quotes. One read, "A queen never explains." Another said, "They only hate you when they can't control you." Her fans were divided yet again. Some saw these as signs of resilience. Others saw them as signs of delusion. But the biggest mystery remained. Where did the money go? And could any of it ever be recovered? Just as this question echoed across the digital world, a new leak threatened to turn everything upside down. An email chain between Amara's stylist and her booking agent surfaced, referencing a gala cover-up plan and coded language about moving documents off-site. The files were signed with nicknames and odd abbreviations, but a digital investigator decoded much of it, and what it suggested was clear. A cover-up had been in motion long before the scandal broke, and someone inside the team had helped make it happen. The discovery of the email thread titled "Gala Cover-Up Plan" sent the media into overdrive. Journalists, legal experts, and former associates all dove into the leak. Analyzing every word, every abbreviation, every veiled phrase, it became obvious that the scandal wasn't just a case of misused funds. It was possibly a premeditated conspiracy to hide the truth from the public. Phrases like "move the files to the off-site location" and "N doesn't want any paper" trail were now being interpreted as attempts to destroy evidence. The N was assumed to be Amara, especially given the earlier invoices signed with her initials. Even more shocking was the mention of someone referred to as the courier, a person who, according to the emails, had been responsible for transporting certain sensitive assets away from the main office after the first set of donation audits. Who was this courier? And what were these assets? Digital sleuths were working around the clock, cross-referencing employee names, job roles, and even building security logs. Soon, a name started circulating: Lucas, former logistics coordinator who had quietly resigned in late 2021 after a confidential internal conflict. No one had heard from him since, as word of Lucas's possible involvement spread. An anonymous Reddit user claiming to be his cousin posted a long message saying he's been holding on to something big. He's scared, but he knows where the documents are. He never wanted to be part of this mess. This revelation set off a chain reaction of speculation. If Lucas truly had physical records of the cover-up, this case could go from a public scandal to a criminal investigation with hard evidence. People began calling on him to speak out. Hashtags like "Locate Lucas" and "Save the Courier" began trending. All the while, Amara's online presence grew more erratic. She continued to post cryptic stories with spiritual quotes and aesthetic photos, completely ignoring the legal and emotional firestorm unfolding around her. One story showed her lighting a candle, captioned, "Truth always burns brighter." Another showed her sipping tea with the words, "Let the snakes reveal themselves." Fans were divided yet again. Some interpreted the posts as signs of defiance. Others saw them as desperate distractions from the storm. Building around her, and then the next twist, Hita, Celebrity Tell-All podcast, released a bombshell interview with an unnamed guest whose voice was digitally altered. The episode, titled, "She Used Us All," ran for an hour and contained explosive allegations. The guest, believed by many to be one of Amara's former stylists, claimed they were present when Amara approved using charity funds to buy statement pieces for red carpet events. She'd say things like, "It's still for the cause, I'm the face of it," the guest recalled. She believed her image was the product the donors were really supporting. The stylist also claimed Amara once instructed them to replace donation boxes at an event because they looked too cheap and didn't match the decor. She was more concerned with the vibe than the purpose, they said. She wanted people to feel rich when they walked in, even if the actual cause got buried under champagne and selfies. These claims, though anonymous, struck a nerve. Listeners were outraged. The podcast episode was downloaded over 2 million times in 3 days at this point. Even Amara's legal team seemed to be losing control of the narrative. A new statement was released, vaguely threatening legal action against those spreading falsehoods and doctored material. But public trust was at an all-time low. A protest was organized outside her Los Angeles condo. Signs reading "Accountability, not aesthetics, and stop stealing from the voiceless" lined the street. A local news station aired the protest live, with clips of former fans weeping as they held up photos of children they believed were hurt by the deception. Then came the leak that turned everything upside down. Lucas finally broke his silence. In a brief but powerful video sent to a major media outlet, Lucas appeared on camera holding a thick folder. His face was partially hidden, his voice calm but urgent. "I never thought I'd be here," he began. "I can't stay silent anymore." These are the original records, edited, unfiltered. I kept them because I knew one day the truth would matter. He held up receipts, forms, and handwritten notes. He described meetings where they were instructed to relabel expenses, to avoid digital traces, and to maintain the illusion of impact. He didn't name Amara directly, but he didn't have to. The documents spoke for themselves. One sheet showed a list of donor names next to estimated contribution values and a handwritten column titled "Appearance Priority," implying that the more someone donated, the more personal attention they received from Amara's team. Another note read, "Avoid press questions about the Haiti pipeline, focus on influencer support." The internet erupted. Screenshots of Lucas's documents were dissected by experts. No one could deny the evidence any longer. Lucas ended his video with a chilling statement. "I kept this folder because one day I wanted to make it right. And I hope this helps the people who were used." His courage was immediately praised. Former staffers began coming forward to back up his story. One wrote, "He's telling the truth. I saw those meetings. I lived through the lies."
Hey.
As pressure continued to mount, rumors of a potential arrest began swirling. Legal analysts suggested that with the emergence of original, unedited financial documents, authorities now had a case strong enough to pursue criminal charges. A former district attorney interviewed on a live panel said, "This is the smoking gun. We're no longer talking about internet drama. We're talking about possible fraud, conspiracy, and obstruction." In response, Amara disappeared again this time completely. No posts, no lives, no statements. Her team refused to comment. Paparazzi claimed she had left her home in the middle of the night, destination unknown. Some speculated she fled to another country. Others believed she was hiding out with close friends in a remote area. Her silence only intensified the outrage. For the first time since the scandal began, public opinion seemed nearly unanimous. Something had to be done. The laugh echoed across social media like a ghost haunting every corner of the internet. By the time the voicemail was fully circulated, it had already become the most quoted audio of the scandal. Remixes were made, slowed-down versions appeared on TikTok, and fan edits turned it into a dark meme. But beneath the trend, there was rage deep, simmering rage that turned a scandal into a movement. People weren't just mad anymore. They were betrayed. Over the next 24 hours, things escalated quickly. Local news stations reported that investigators had been seen entering the main office of the Amara Foundation. Footage showed boxes being carried out, laptops being bagged, and several staff members being questioned. It wasn't a raid, but it wasn't far from one. Official statements from the Department of Charities confirmed an active inquiry into financial discrepancies and record falsification. It was happening. For the first time since the leak, real consequences were on the horizon. And while the authorities moved quietly, the public did not. A massive online petition titled "Hold Amara Accountable" crossed 1 million signatures in less than a day. Former collaborators continued to come forward, some anonymously, others boldly. A well-known makeup artist wrote a lengthy post describing how Amara demanded all staff sign silence contracts before every event. "We were forced to pretend," she said. "Forced to lie. If we ever said the wrong thing, we were told we'd never work again." Meanwhile, Lucas the courier turned whistleblower released a follow-up statement. In it, he thanked people for their support and confirmed he was now working with investigators. He also hinted that there were more documents worse than anything you've seen. The internet held its breath. What more could there be? Hadn't the worst already surfaced? Then came a revelation no one expected. A trusted news outlet published a special report based on leaked calendar appointments and personal texts from Amara's phone, provided by another ex-staffer. Within the messages were clear indications that she had on several occasions canceled planned charity distributions in favor of paid brand deals and photo ops. One message to her manager read, "Push the book drive to next month. I've got Versace Thursday." Another read, "Let's make the supply run look organic. We need crying kids, not clean ones." It was cruel, calculated, and horrifying. The fallout was immediate. Brands pulled out completely. A documentary that had once planned to profile Amara as a philanthropic icon announced it would be scrapping the project entirely. TV networks canceled upcoming features. It's a major fashion house even deleted photos of her from their runway archives. She was being erased in real time. The woman who once stood at the center of charitable glamour had become a ghost, haunting the very cause she claimed to support. Then came the legal hit. News broke that a grand jury had been assembled to review the case. The charges being considered included wire fraud, misuse of charitable funds, tax evasion, and destruction of evidence. Legal experts explained that if indicted, Amara could be facing serious time, up to 20 years depending on how deep the fraud ran. And thanks to Lucas's documents, Clarissa's leaked texts, and the voicemail admissions, the case against her was more than just speculation. It was solid, was building. Amara's silence had gone from shocking to deafening. Even her closest allies had begun to turn away. A former stylist posted, "Loyalty isn't blind. I believed in her once. Now I just feel fooled." Her fan pages shut down one by one. Group chats filled with former supporters were now flooded with disbelief and disappointment. The spell had officially broken, and just when it seemed things couldn't get any more surreal, Amara reappeared, but not in a statement, not in a video. She appeared at a courthouse. Paparazzi captured her stepping out of a black SUV, surrounded by her legal team. No glam, no entourage, no filters. Her face was tired, her eyes sunken. There was no smile, no wave, just silence. Reporters shouted questions as she entered the building. "Do you deny the accusations? What happened to the money? What do you say to the children who never got help?" She said nothing. Inside, she met with investigators for what sources said was a preliminary discussion under legal supervision, while the details remained confidential. Insiders claimed Amara was offered a deal: cooperate, provide a full financial breakdown, and accept partial responsibility in exchange for a reduced sentence. But no one knew if she would take it.
Of course.
When she left the building 3 hours later, her expression hadn't changed. She looked out at the cameras, paused, and simply said, "This isn't over." Those words were like gasoline on a fire. Online theories exploded. Some claimed she was planning to expose others, that she wasn't the only one involved. Others believed she was still in denial, hoping to spin the narrative again. But the damage was done. And this time, there was no way to dance around them. Facts. Too many voices, too much evidence. Too many people hurt. Meanwhile, victims of the scandal were finally getting their voices amplified. Teachers, volunteers, and donors appeared on talk shows and news programs. They shared stories of hope shattered, promises broken. One volunteer cried as she recalled carrying empty boxes at a photo shoot, pretending they were full of school supplies. "We thought we were changing the world," she said. "Turns out, we were part of a lie." And yet, in the rubble, something else began to grow: accountability. A group of former volunteers launched a grassroots initiative to rebuild the programs Amara had abandoned. They started raising funds, organizing real distribution networks, and pledging 100% transparency. One organizer said Amara's lies hurt us, but we're turning her scandal into action. People donated, rallied, and showed support. The initiative went viral. Real aid was finally reaching children, but Amara's story wasn't quite over. Late one night, a final video appeared on a backup account. In it, Amara sat in a dark room alone. Her voice was low, nearly a whisper. "Maybe I lost myself somewhere along the way," she said. "Maybe I believed the hype too much. But I never stopped wanting to matter, even if I chose the wrong way." The video ended abruptly. No music, no edits, no apology. And maybe that's what haunted people most. The story of Amara La Negra became a modern tragedy, a tale of image over integrity, of branding over honesty. Her rise had been meteoric, her fall even faster. And through it all, the world watched with a mix of horror, fascination, and heartbreak. Not because she had stumbled, but because she had betrayed the very thing that gave her power. Trust. The curtain had fallen, and no one was clapping. The Amara scandal has shaken the very foundation of what we believed about fame, charity, and trust. From the shocking voicemail confession to Lucas's brave whistleblowing, and now the looming legal battles, this story has everything: betrayal, secrets, heartbreak, and a fall from grace so steep it stunned even the most loyal fans. Emotions ran high, families and friends were left divided, and fans are shocked by the extent of the deception. The truth wasn't just hidden, it was carefully constructed, and the fallout has proven devastating. But here's the question: what happens next? Will Amara finally face justice, or is there more hidden in the shadows? Can the real victims find healing and hope after such betrayal? And who else might be involved behind the scenes? The story is far from over, and the next chapter could change everything. Now, it's your turn. What do you think about Amara's actions? Is she a victim of her own ambition, or a calculated deceiver? Do you believe Lucas's revelations will bring justice, or will this scandal fade away with time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your hottest takes. Don't forget to smash that like button if you found this update eye-opening, and subscribe for all the latest breaking news and exclusive stories. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the drama as it unfolds. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, because this story is only just beginning, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.